Durk was denied bond again. The judge found that he was a flight risk. Welcome back to Parking Lot Principles. I'm an attorney, but I'm not your attorney. And this ain't legal advice, but I am keeping you updated. Before we can talk about why the judge felt like Durk was a flight risk, we need to really understand what that means. The judge is trying to see whether or not you'll flee or not. That is something called a flight risk. When the judge is trying to determine whether or not you'll commit a crime when you're out, while you're still waiting for your case to complete, that is something called danger to the community. Now, these are not the only things that a judge can consider in a bond determination. It honestly depends on your jurisdiction, the state that you're being charged in, if there's additional requirements. But in this case, we're talking about those two things. How can Durk's attorney show that he is not a danger to the community or a flight risk? Specifically for a danger to the community, we want to reassure the judge that we're not going to do anything bad while we're out of jail. So that could be complying with laws. That could be signs of rehabilitation, right? In this case, the prosecution showed evidence, especially in his past bond hearings, that he was using cell phones of other inmates inside the jail, and that shows a complete disregard for rules. And that if he's let out, he's also going to completely disregard rules. That goes to whether or not he's a danger to the community, right? In this most recent hearing, the judge felt like he was a flight risk. Now, the judge really harped on the fact that when Lil Durk was picked up in Florida, he was on his way to Dubai. The judge said this is odd because other co-defendants in the case were picked up before you, and then you chose the opportunity to go to Dubai, likely trying to evade arrest. The defense attorneys argued, well, he goes to Dubai often. He's a recording artist. He does business there. He also goes there for religious reasons. And the judge's like, that may be true, but there is no evidence to suggest his trip to Dubai that day was for any of those things. The judge also noted that this is a hefty sentence. This is life in prison without parole. That would make anyone want to flee. And finally, the judge expressed concern about any of the government's witnesses who anticipate testifying against Lil Durk. Specifically, he says that when he's home, he'll have access to money, power, and the ability to possibly stop these people from testifying against him. Deny bond primarily on the fact that he believes that Durk is a flight risk, but that ending piece about endangering possible witnesses could also fall under the danger to the community category. I hope that makes sense, and I'll be keeping up with this trial. We're going to keep it cute. We're going to keep it short, but we're going to keep up.